Published 0955 EDT, the 11th of September 2017. Updated 2018 EDT, the 11th of September 2017. Introverted is one way to describe Frank de Boer. Those who have worked with the Dutchman over the past 77 days might offer up far less complimentary descriptions. Difficult to get along with, said one Crystal Palace source. A bit of a weirdo, said another. A tad harsh, perhaps. How well can you get to know someone in 77 days? Nevertheless, his personality, or by all accounts, his lack of it, is said to have played a role in his sacking. I'll get my coat. Frank de Boer has been sacked by Crystal Palace after just 77 days in charge. De Boer hides his head in his hands during the home defeat by Swansea City last month. According to insiders, communication was not de Boer's strong point. This set of players used Tony Pulis, Pardew and Sam Allardyce, who are assertive and authoritative. De Boer's distinguished playing career should have commanded instant respect. Sadly, it didn't work out that way, and it could be argued that the players never gave him a chance. The decision to play Luka Milivojevic as a centre-back in pre-season bewildered the Serb and his teammates. Signed by Allardyce in January, Milivojevic played a crucial role in Palace's midfield as they avoided the drop last season, so moving him into a back three did not make sense to anyone. Similarly, de Boer is understood to have had a difficult relationship with defender Damien Delaney. The Irish centre-back has made close to 200 appearances for the club and, despite an increasingly peripheral role, remains a hugely popular and influential member of the Palace squad. De Boer was sacked in the wake of Palace's 10 loss at Burnley on Sunday afternoon. He is expected to be replaced in the Selhurst Park dugout by ex-England boss Roy Hodgson. Maybe de Boer must read the dressing room politics, but his relationship with his players was hardly harmonious, and it is inevitable that concerns would find the way to chairman Steve Parish. The players simply weren't convinced by de Boer's methods, and the difficulties he encountered in communicating with his squad left them confused about what was required on match days and in training sessions. De Boer arrived vowing that his team would dominate the ball. Pass, 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 just like Ajax. De Boer leaves after 77 days, with Palace losing all 4 of their opening league games. It sounds credible in theory, but putting the plan into practice in the Premier League was easier said than done with the squad he had at his disposal at Palace. De Boer did not have the personnel to play 3 at the back. The players knew it wouldn't work, but it seems no one told de Boer. Certain players would argue that de Boer would not have listened anyway. Allardyce had the team playing percentage football. It wasn't attractive, but it worked, so no wonder the Palace hierarchy tried to lure Big Sam back to Selhurst Park last week. Eventually, the decision to sack de Boer was made as the team flew back to London after losing to Burnley on Sunday. It is not as though de Boer wasn't warned, because some of the Dutchman's allies predicted this ending and told him as much in the summer. Steve Parish made the decision to fire de Boer during a flight back from Burnley August 12, Huddersfield Town HO3 August 19, Liverpool AO1 August 26, Swansea City HO2 September 10, Burnley AO1. Palace did, however, manage to beat Ipswich Town 21 in the EFL Cup. He should have listened. De Boer arrived in South London intent on rebuilding his reputation after being fired after only 83 days in charge at Inter Milan. That reputation is now in tatters, and Roy Hodgson will be confirmed as the new manager within 24 hours. De Boer's departure has been coming ever since Palace lost at home to Swansea before the international break. The only surprise is that he was given Sunday's game against Burnley to try to turn things around. For the boardroom to the dressing room, everyone knew De Boer was on borrowed time and finally has been put out of his misery. The dressing room upheaval played its part, but by no means was it the only factor. Manager and club certainly did not see eye to eye regarding transfer policy. De Boer lasted 77 days at Palace, less than the 83 he managed as Inter Milan boss last season. Monday's Sportsmail flagged up De Boer's exit and Hodgson's arrival. Ask those close to De Boer and they will tell you Palace did not make enough effort to sign the players he had identified. They will say the club did not trust the manager's judgment. However, others at Selhurst Park might suggest the players who De Boer wanted had costly mistake written all over them. Who is telling the truth? The reality is probably somewhere in the middle, but what is for sure is that manager and club weren't singing from the same hymn sheet. De Boer certainly didn't have much money to play with following Palace's heavy expenditure in the transfer market over the past 2 seasons. But by the same token, you can forgive the club for not throwing millions of pounds at unproven talent from the Dutch Eredivisie. Ultimately, though, the key to De Boer's sacking had to be the results. 4 games, 4 defeats, no goals. There is no escaping those numbers, and the numbers certainly didn't stack up for Crystal Palace.